just did all that hard work, got everything loose and feeling great. These next three things are things that you can do to enhance, as well as throughout the day, things that you can do to help reset. The first one I call kitchen sink stretch. Why? Because that's generally the easiest place I find to do it in the house and throughout the day. I'm demoing on a chair. You can do it on a chair. There's just some things you need to make adjustments. You can do it with a table, a desk, lots of different ways. The key thing to this is that it's a positional release as well as a light stretch. What do I mean by a positional release? Like the static back is for our low back when we get into that position and it lets the hips relax. That's what we're doing here. Imagine I'm holding on to the kitchen sink. A nice relaxed grip. My knees are slightly bent. I relax my head, and now, as you can see, I'm letting gravity take my shoulders, my upper thoracic back, and my spine, and let it drop and reset. You're going to hold that position nice and relaxed for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. If you want, you can grip and get a little bit more of a lat stretch by sitting your hips back. Okay, if you want to turn it into a hamstring stretch, you can straighten the legs. All right, let me show you what I mean by that. So you've just did a nice job bending the knees, let everything set, and now you want to get a little more of a lat stretch. Let that hip drop back and sink into it. A little difficult for me to show here, as you can see, but if you're holding on to something stable, you can really sink into it. Now, if I want to get more of a hamstring stretch, I just straighten those legs and let things drop. Again, not right or wrong. What are we looking to benefit and get here? If you're really working on trying to reset from your ears up through that rib cage, that chest area, just going into the static back and letting gravity reset everything, kitchen sink stretch is great. Modified version of that is the next stretch I'm about to show you. All right, this next positional release for the upper back and neck is something you can do almost anywhere that you've got a wall. It's a modified yoga pose. It's a simple thing to get into. We're just going to take our hands, make a little prayer position. The pressure on all of this should be coming into the forearms. The reason this works isn't because you're stretching. The reason this works is because gravity is going to pull and allow that neck and upper thoracic, just like the kitchen sink stretch, to fall into its proper place, okay? So you make a fist. You put your forearms in a triangle fashion against the wall. Back into a plank position, and then we just simply let the head drop. And hold. While you're in that position, you're thinking about your forehead relaxing and falling into the wall. Find a comfortable position so you can be there for 30 seconds, minute, 90 seconds. It's not, stay comfortable, right? So make some feet adjustments. Keep the abdominals activated, the glutes activated, and letting those shoulders relax and fall into the forearms. Again, a nice way to help reset and let that spine and upper back fall back into place, particularly if you've been doing a lot of sitting. I didn't mention it on the intro, but we need to get a little bit of that front side relaxing too, and activating and releasing. We're going to do that with the lacrosse ball. I'm using this post right here. A doorway works fine as well. All we're going to do is take that lacrosse ball and lean into it. Find a tender spot and just lean into it. Again, 30 seconds to a minute. Now, can you do this laying on the ground? Yes, but this is much more comfortable. I don't want to position my face flat into the ground. I'm just walking my feet back and I'm just letting gravity. I'm not, again, just like everything else, on a scale of 0 to 10, I want the tenderness that I'm finding in my pec to be somewhere between a 4 and a 7, 4 and an 8. Sharp pains, I find a new spot. Pains that are just making me go, is the minute up yet? I find a new spot. Holding it there for deep breaths. Deep breath in. Then a minute, I find another spot. And again, deep breath in. A couple different ways I can go with this. You've got your collarbone right here. I can walk across the collarbone. To get more of that pec muscle, though, you're going to kind of want to come at a 45-degree angle down and across to get that pec. Find 2-3 spots, breathe into it. Then we're going to go into our activation and opening up in the next shot with the chest stretch. All right, so we just loosened everything up with that lacrosse ball. We are going to get in and get a little bit of a pec stretch here. Again, I'm on the post. You can do this in a doorway. There are some that show doing a double in between the both at the same time. Can be a great way to open up those pecs and to get a positional release. Right now, we're being a little more specific, one side at a time, okay? So we're going to start with that elbow below the shoulder. We're going to lean into it, get a little bit of a stretch coming across here, and then I'm going to actively kind of squeeze my shoulder blade back to take it into a little bit more of a stretch. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to push my elbow into, so I'm actually contracting my pec. I'm going to push it into that wall, into the door frame. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to relax and let it sink a little bit more. I'm going to sit there, let everything adjust, and then squeeze that shoulder blade back, kind of opening that joint up. And then I'm going to squeeze into it a little bit more. I'm teaching that joint how to be strong and stable at that end range of motion as I'm driving my elbow in and activating. And then I relax. Okay, I'm going to repeat that 2 or 3 times. And then I'm going to bring my elbow up. And then repeat. I'm going to come into it. 5. Press into it. 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeeze the shoulder blade, sink into it, relax. 2, 3, 4, 5. Push into it. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to repeat that cycle at this position 2 or 3 times. And then, depending on the comfort of my shoulder, I may go up. If your shoulder starts to hike too much up to your ear like this, stop, okay? You can get plenty from this just doing that first position a couple of times. So, as with all static stretches, do not be aggressive. We are using this to relax and activate and re-educate in a positive way. We're not trying to make our body go anywhere that it doesn't feel comfortable or confident. All right? Take your time, and if all of that contracting or relaxing is too much, hey, just get into that position. On a scale of 1 to 10, find a spot that feels nice and like you're putting a little bit of tension on it, but not too much. I'd say it's like you're pulling your hair, but I can't demo that as you can see. So just get into it and breathe. And just let it get comfortable with a nice light stretch. And just simply hold that, okay? It's not right or wrong. Both ways have their benefits. Do the one that you feel most comfortable with, all right?